Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesday. Got a little story I want to tell, and this kind of starts out piggybacking on the What's Up Wednesday from last week, which was the 24-hour rule, which is basically let your emotions settle a little bit before you address an issue. This week I want to talk a little bit about burning bridges, but a little story on me. When I graduated my degree in safety, my intention was to become a safety director for a construction company, but at the time, the economy was down and I had a really tough time finding a job. I ended up going to work for a safety equipment company, of all things, selling safety equipment primarily to contractors. And throughout my career doing that, which lasted 4 or 5 years, I ran into a lot of competitors and I got to know my competitors. And obviously, when you're in a sales type of a role, it's a very competitive situation. And I was a competitive person. So, there are a couple different ways I could address my competitors. One is I could be adversarial with them, or two, as they say, keep your friends close and your competitors or enemies closer. I could build relationships with them, which is exactly what I did, whether it be at an industry event or bumping into them on the job site. I was always friendly with them. And the interesting thing was, over the years, some of those people I competed against became my coworkers in the company I worked for. They ended up coming on board with us. So it's really important that we look at the long term when we're looking at relationships with people, and we try to build out those relationships, knowing that one day we may work with that person. It may be a different situation where you work for somebody who's a tyrant, and then a year later, all of a sudden, that person's hired under you on a project. So keep in mind that it's a very, very small community out there. And as big as the United States is, and as many jobs and contractors and places that there are to work, it's still a very, very small community. I know many people in the industry who have worked for companies like Intuitive Safety Solutions, and they've burned the bridge everywhere that they've gone. When they've left a job in the middle of the job, they've given a reason to leave that job that wasn't genuine. And later, we generally discover the real story down the road when somebody says, I'm leaving because I have a family emergency. And then the next week you talk to them on the phone, you can hear backup alarms in the background, knowing they're on a job site somewhere. It's happened more times than I can count. And what ends up happening is that person burns a bridge with that company, and they can no longer cross that bridge. They can no longer come back to work again. They won't get that second chance. And when they do that over and over and over again, eventually they get to a situation where they can't find a job. I see people on LinkedIn all the time who are saying, hey, I'm available, I'm available. And it's as if there aren't any takers. And there's a reason for that. It's because they've burned so many bridges along the way that really they're kind of on do not hire lists for companies, because companies don't want to get burned more than once. It's just the way it is. So think about that. Make the right decisions, do things professionally. Even if you don't like somebody, build a professional relationship, because eventually you may work with them again. And you want to try to do everything you can to, again, build genuine professional relationships, whether you like somebody, agree with them, compete with them, or otherwise. Hopefully you find that useful, and we will see you here next Wednesday.